Can I turn the subject to Ace Frehley? What's happened to him?
I saw Ace about 2 weeks ago. We worked on something together. Ace is fine. He's got a wife, a baby, and a house in the country. And that's the lifestyle that he's decided to lead. And
the country squire.
The country squire. He, I don't think, is willing or may not be able to lead this sort of lifestyle. But when you're in KISS, you marry 3 other people. You get married to the band and to the fans. Not your girlfriend, not your wife, not your dog, not your babies. None of that stuff can have an effect. And you can't have a girl tugging at your sleeve saying, when are you coming home from tour, and why don't you do one less interview, and, you know, sort of...
Total dedication.
Yeah. You want to be in KISS? It's 24 hours. If you want a 50-50 sort of lifestyle...
Then you join IS.
Yeah, then you do something else. This is not a part-time thing.
Why did you take the unusual step of producing 4 solo albums in, I think it was September '78?
We were lucky. I mean, most bands, you know one member. You don't know the 4 members or 5 members or whatever. And what we were lucky enough at that point, we had I think 5 or 6 albums at that point in a real short span of time. And to give us each a chance to really let off some steam individually, we were in a position where Neil Bogart was saying, look, you guys can all do your own album. And it's great to work in a group situation, but it's also like everybody's dream to go off and do everything on their own. So with that in mind, we went off and did it. Most bands, when somebody goes off and does a solo album, it means the band's over. And us, it just meant, you know, we were letting off a little steam, stretching out a bit.
Initially, it did give that impression that you were splitting up, although you quickly...
But that, every single year that we've been around, people, at the end of our first year, the press started to write, well, that's it. Second year, well, that's it. And on. And every single year, oh, of course they're breaking up, because how can they put up with the pace, or aren't they tired of this, or, you know, why tour when you don't have to? They're really missing the point. We're not KISS because we have to be, but because we love it. You know, this is something that we enjoy doing. I'm not in Leeds tonight because I have to be here, but because I want to be here.
Right, you're not in it for the money, you're in it because you want to do it.
We started as a rock and roll band. We started playing guitars and turning up amps because that's what we love doing. We're turning up amps and playing guitars today because we love doing it. You don't do anything well unless you love it. I mean, you can't fool anybody. Commitment.
Yeah, you can't fool.
Commitment is everything.
No, but it obviously comes over. Did the cartoon film Kiss Meets the Phantom come up to your expectations?
As far as we know, it was not a cartoon film.
I think
it was a live-action one. That's all right.
First of all, I must admit I've never seen it. I'd heard it was.
Did it come up
Obviously,
to
I'm
our
wrong.
expectations?
No.
Not at all. There were a lot of problems with it, and sometimes when you're in the midst of doing something, your best bet is to keep going forward and get it done and do the best you can. I think there were funny parts and it was kind of interesting, but it was something that seemed to go kind of, it took on a character and a life of its own and just went wherever it wanted to.
Originally it was going to be an action film with lots of special effects, and it turned into something else. It's okay. I don't think we're sorry for ever having done it. It just didn't come out anywhere near what we expected. But that's okay. You live and you learn.
I think also what happened was TV censorship entered into it. And a lot of the stuff that we wanted to have in it that was much truer to what we are was never going to be allowed past the censors, even in as much as there were some fight sequences in it where they wound up playing cartoon music underneath it because they didn't want it to have any kind of overtones of any kind of destruction or
because American TV censors are much harsher than they are in this country.
I was saying to Gene before, TV over here and commercials and everything on television are just the best. Comedians over here are great. You know, I mean, there's words flung around on TV here that
you get away with murder
that you
over
get
here.
thrown off TV in 5 minutes if you did it in America.
Have you ever heard of Not the 9 O'Clock News?
Yes.
Right, well, they get away with they push it to the limit, as it were.
What was the last time I saw it? Was it Stomping on the Duck? Is that what it is? Stomping on the cat, stomping on the elephant?
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, you know, and I mean, when you hear comedians talking about, you know, I don't even know what we can say on this thing. But
say what
I
you
heard
like.
a comedian, a female, talking about how she was dissatisfied with her sex life and how every night it was like missing the express train to Manchester or something, and she always wishes she was on that train with him or something. But I mean, the imagery was very clear, and I was.
Oh yes,
I saw one
phallic symbols of the train, etc.
One comedian was talking about, well, you know, I went out and if you do this, maybe you'll be able to get laid. Now, if you said get laid, we may be off the air now, right?
No,
folks?
no. Fine.
But that's amazing because in America, we would say that right now, and they would stop tape and say, look, you know, we'll do that again, and why don't you come up with another word for that? So it's real interesting. I mean, I'm watching television last night, and the commercials here are just the best, dynamite commercials.
Can I turn back to your music for a moment?
No, let's talk about Brazil.
No, let's talk about Brazil.
Let's talk about American TV commercials, Alex. Music from The Elder. It wasn't really a great success in Kiss terms in this country. Can you explain why?
Kiss has always been about being totally committed to what you're doing, and sometimes we take left-hand turns. That's who it is that we are. As early as 1976, we decided to do a ballad, and that had nothing to do with Kiss, but we wanted to do it. And The Elder was an experiment that we wanted to try, and we did it, and we're proud that we did it. And then you move on, and because of The Elder, it clears up the perspective a little bit, maybe, and then you get a very clear point of reference that, you know, the next album is not what you don't want to do The Elder Part 2. And Creatures was born because of that.
It's also interesting that some people will hear something like The Elder or Beth and say, well, they're not heavy metal anymore. And you need that freedom, you know.
To do something else.
Absolutely. I mean, you're sitting here with a blue shirt on. Now, I would never in a million years say, well, he wears blue shirts every day. You know, your identity has to have that much flexibility. So, I mean, we are absolutely what we are, always have been. But in being that, it means we need the freedom to experiment.
You obviously experiment with your live shows as well. What can people going to a Kiss concert today expect musically and visually?
Dedication is a big word. I mean, we can use words to describe what the stage looks like. The fact that the drum riser is on top of a tank that moves and does all sorts of things, but we won't.
Right. Don't spoil
that. We've always... Kiss is more about the people than about the things that are on the stage or what they do. It's about 4 people who are willing to do everything short of kill themselves to make sure that the audience has a good time. So
and the band has a great time, which is
we love it.
We certainly don't look pained.
Yeah.
You know, when we're talking about killing ourselves, it's really like the ultimate joy what we're doing.
You must consider yourselves to be very lucky people, really. The positions you're in.
We really are.
It's really about dedication, and it's not about effects. If Kiss is about effects, then it's the effect the audience is having on Kiss and the effect that Kiss is having on the audience.
Right.
More that than the bombs.
And as far as the future is concerned for you now, do you just intend to continue making albums, touring, and going on ad infinitum?
Sure.
As long as it's good for, you know, there's that conversation that goes on after each love affair. Was it good for you? Yes, it was good for me. And it always takes 2. And it's a continuing love affair between us and the audience. As long as it's good for both of us, it'll continue. When one of us when it's no longer fun for one of us,
then we'll smoke a cigarette.
Then we'll
smoke a cigarette and
then
say,
we'll stop.
I owe you one.
Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, thanks very much for coming in.
It's great being here.
Thank you, and thank the fans.